Okay, friends, we are going to move on to chapter 9. Now, remember, God said in a verse, I'll find it for you guys later, it says that God tends to repeat himself with us because, well, human beings are hard-headed, not just the Jews. And we all have consciences, and we all know right from wrong, but still sometimes we do things that we shouldn't, and sometimes we tend to start to love things more, or our country more, people more than we love God, but maybe we just don't realize that we're doing it. Okay, so it's time for us to start, filling our lamps with oil, and he calls us all to wake up. He's not calling the non-believers to waking up. He's calling the believers to wake up, and he also wants us to wake up enough to try to teach other people also. But to teach other people, maybe we also need to go and learn also. I find that I learn more as I teach or share. Maybe we're just studying together, maybe not so much teaching, but yes, teaching also. We're in chapter 9 of Hosea. Rejoice not, O Israel, exalt not like the peoples. Now remember, we're Israel too because we're grafted in. For you have played the whore, forsaking your God. You have loved a prostitute's wages on all the threshing floors. Now this may not be exactly directed towards you per se, but towards the United States, a lot of this makes sense for us and other countries also. Okay, you have loved a prostitute's wages on all the threshing floors. Threshing floor and wine vat shall not feed them, and the new wine shall fail them. They shall not remain in the land of the Lord, but Ephraim shall return to Egypt, and they shall eat unclean food in Assyria. Now, it could mean for us spiritually. They shall not remain in the land of the Lord, but Ephraim shall return to Egypt, and they shall eat unclean food. I think just means for us, maybe it could mean spiritually that, we're not so much going to be in the, in the time of peace that we've had. They shall not pour drink offerings of wine to the Lord, and their sacrifices shall not please him. It shall be like mourners' bread to them. All who eat of it shall be defiled, for their bread shall be for their hunger only. It shall not come to the house of the Lord. It's still a strong message for us too, in a way, saying, well, he's not going to receive what we offer up to him, at least if we're not in the right spirit for it. What will you do on the day of the appointed festival, and on the day of the feast of the Lord? For behold, they are going away from destruction, but Egypt shall gather them. Memphis shall bury them. Nettles shall possess their precious things of silver. Thorns shall be in their tents. The days of punishment have come. See, so there's some lessons in this, a little bit not quite exact, but still it sounds a lot like what we're going through now. The days of punishment have come. The days of recompense have come. Israel shall know it, and I think a lot of us do know it. The prophet is a fool. The man of the spirit is mad because of your great iniquity and great hatred. Isn't that what we have right now? Great iniquity. Iniquity means sinfulness and hatred. We have that going on. The word is going all around the place like crazy. The prophet is the watchman of Ephraim with my God. Yet a fowler's snare is on all his ways, and hatred in the house of his God. And there are houses of God, physically, churches that preach hate. I've heard it. Also in the house of God, as in people who claim to be Christian, and they are speaking words of hate. They have deeply corrupted themselves, as in the days of Gibeah. He will remember their iniquity. He will punish their sins. Iniquity can also mean lawlessness. So we could read it with the word lawlessness, and let's see. He will remember their lawlessness. He will punish their sins. Iniquity is sinfulness. Like grapes in the wilderness, I found Israel. Like the first fruit on the fig tree in its first season, I saw your fathers. But they came to Baal Peor and consecrated themselves to the thing of shame. I think some of us might have an idea what that is. I'm just going to let it be. And consecrated themselves to the thing of shame, and became detestable like the thing they loved. Ephraim's glory shall fly away like a bird. No birth, no pregnancy, no conception. Even if they bring up children, I will bereave them till none is left. Woe to them when I depart from them. Ephraim, as I have seen, was like a young palm planted in a meadow, but Ephraim must lead his children out to slaughter. Give them, O Lord, what will you give? Give them a miscarrying womb and dry breasts. Every evil of theirs is in Gilgal. There I began to hate them because of the wickedness of their deeds. I will drive them out of my house. I will love them no more. All of their princes are rebels. All of their princes are rebels. It could be all the people in government. All their people in government are rebels. The rest of the stuff about the people here are still having children, but it could mean something else. It could mean that's not really talking about that for us, but some of it does. Like their princes are rebels, that speaks to us. Because of the wickedness of their deeds, I will drive them out of my house. Because they claim to be Christians, but they're not. Or their churches are full of, they have put in so much non-truths into the churches, so they're driving them out of them. He's driving them out of them. I will love them no more. All their princes are rebels. Ephraim is stricken, their root is dried up, they shall bear no fruit. Even though they give birth, I will put their beloved children to death. My God will reject them because they have not listened to him. They shall be wonders among the nations. So maybe not all of that is happening with us yet. It could happen in the very, very end times. We're not quite there yet. But driving people out of the churches, yeah, he's driven people out of the churches. And people are saying, oh, they're not letting us go to church. They're not letting us go to church. Remember, God's in control. He's letting that happen. Why? Because so many mistruths have been put into the churches. So many people who claim to be Christians, and they're choosing poor leaders. Because it mentioned it 2 times now in this chapter about them choosing poor leaders. And so he let them have them. He didn't know the leaders. They chose them anyway. The princes are rebels, it says. I think it was in the other chapter. Let's see. They made kings, but not through me. They set up princes, but I knew it not. That's chapter 8 from the other video. With their silver and gold, they made idols for their own destruction. And then we read here at the end of chapter 9 over here that, they choose evil leaders. Their princes are rebels. So that's chapter 9, Like I said, it can be hard to swallow some of it, and maybe some of it's not quite true yet. But some of it sure does speak to us. On to chapter 10.